So today we are going to discuss about Kubernetes and why the Kubernetes and what is the role of Kubernetes in software development lifecycle and all the things. So before going to the Kubernetes, we need to understand why we need it. And before knowing why we need it, we have to understand the concept of Docker here. So this video is not about the Docker, but as to you to understand the concept of Kubernetes, I'm going to explain it about a little bit about the Docker here. So let's move back to the 4 to 5 years ago, and let us consider one situation. So you are the guys who are deploying the applications on server, and you are migrating those servers, and you are configuring all the network services, and you are maintaining all the application states and all the things. So what generally happens in production environments or in companies like Amazon, Meta, and what we can say the Google, and as you know the all the MNCs types. So what generally happens in 6 to 5 years ago, you have to manually just have to handle all the applications and all the configuration related to it. So it might feel a little bit complex to you guys because we have to understand the LDLC here, SDLC life cycle. So in order to understand it, you just have to know that software is made on organization as step by step. There can be the methods like agile method, methodology or waterfall methodology. We don't know about it. But as an engineer, as a cloud engineer, as a developer, I need to know my application will be secure or it should be reliable and it should be contain the minimal dependencies and contains a less space. And it should be scalable, deployable, and all the other things. So what am I doing here is basically I am trying to explain you the what we can say the history of it. Why is the need of Kubernetes? So as we know, the previous process are all the manual processes, and they have to handle the all services and all the things related to the applications. From then, the concept comes as a Docker. So, what is a Docker? So, consider you have your application. So, you have built the one application, Java Spring Book application, or what we can say one calculator application, and you want to deploy it in your server and you want to give it to the client. In the production, you want to use the minimal dependencies and want to make the production scalable and reliable. You understanding what I am saying here? So you want to scale your applications. You want to make delivery faster, reliable with respect to time and quality also. So in order to do that, the concept of Docker comes into picture. So what Docker does, it containers your application. So container, what is a container here? So container applications means your container contains your application. So containers have the minimal dependencies that needed to run your application. So you have to write the Docker files here, and after writing Docker files, you can create your images. And the one extra feature of Docker and all the things they are using the containerizing your applications is that they provide you the registries. So Docker has its one registry called Docker Hub. In there you can share your images, so you have built your application, and if you are working on, so consider our group name is a Tech Titans or Route 53, as we changed it in last or 2 weeks. So I am home that I am working on one application. So I have built the image of that application. I want to share with the our team members. So you want to access that application. So what you will do, you will go to that Docker Hub and pull that images. So it might feel you little bit confusing now, but just understand what the concept it brings. So let me just show you the what is the architecture behind it. Why don't we use a virtual machines instead of Docker or containers? Why are the VMs are heavier than Dockers? As we discussed about, containers contains the minimal dependencies that needed to run your application, and it only contains that necessary amounts of requirement that need your application to run. Okay, so that's why the containers are lightweight. You can pull the image from the Docker Hub and download it and use it in your own. So just let me show you the image of it. 1 minute. Okay. So here we are. Sorry for the image, but here, guys, you can see. I don't know if you are able to see seeing or this not, but let us understand it. So in our virtual machines, we have the hardware in bottom level. Then we have the OS, then the hypervisor, and top of it we have the VMs that are the virtual machines. So what the operating system does, it uses the operating system and divides into equally parts. So if you want to create two virtual machines, so it will going to assign the specific RAM and all the storages to specific virtual machine, and it will assign the another types of memories and uses to the another virtual machine. This all kind of things done by the hypervisor here. Okay, so what we know, we have studied in colleges and all things here. So we know the concept of the virtualization and the virtual machines here. So the next level of it is the Docker containers. So some of you might say, oh, there are the virtual machines, and why the hell we need the Docker here? In order to understand Docker, so in Docker, you can see the architecture of it. I cannot think you are able to see this, but let me just explain. This uses the OS operating systems resources to run their application in containers. So here we don't have the VMs, we only have the containers here. You have to understand this. And Docker in container engine is handling all the containers here, and there are the Docker daemons which are responsible for the making your API request to the your containers, and you can modify your containers, you can add the network and all the things. Before that, we have understand what is the difference between them. So in hypervisor, we don't have hypervisor in container applications like Docker, as we discuss about it. So you have to understand the architecture of it now. So one thing you have to understand, what is a Docker and why we need it. So let's come to the Kubernetes part first. So why the need of Kubernetes? So some of you might say, oh, there is a Docker. Now you can containerize your application in good states. And why the hell we need the Kubernetes now? we have the VMs, and you move on to the containerized Dockers, and then you're moving to the Kubernetes now. What the hell is going on? So you are managing, you are deploying your applications and all the things that are good. There is no argument about it. But what happens if your containers go down? What you will do? Some of you might say, "Home, I will restart my container here." But that's not the case here. If you restarting your container, you will assign a new IP to it. You cannot configure all the things one by one here. What if your daemon goes down? Your all containers goes down automatically. So to overcome these problems, we have the Kubernetes here. But there are tools like the Docker Swarm, but Docker Swarm doesn't provide the much as features as Kubernetes provide you. So what is the point here, Home? So let me just give you the what is the Kubernetes in your bookish language. Kubernetes, you can consider it as orchestrator for your containerize your applications, and it manages your all applications and containers here. So, what is orchestrator here? So, if you are listen to the musics and the in some types of music they have the orchestrator there, and he's able to handle all the types of their members, and the members are all following that orchestrator. They will watch for their hand signs just like it. So orchestrator means it will handle all processes, all the containers that are running in your Docker or in your production environment. Okay. So you have understand it, but is that enough? So this is a very small reason for it. So let's understand the history of Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is written in Go language, and it is developed by the Google, which you already know about it. And later they will contribute it to the CNCF. So we have no, I don't know you are knowing the CNCF here. So let me just introduce about the CNCF here. So CNCF is a cloud to cloud foundation. So what is it, Om? So later they submitted this project to the CNCF, which is a cloud to cloud foundation, and they are the open source contributors all around the world, which are they contributing to this organization. This is an open source organization. They have the build tools like the Argo CD and the Spinnaker and the what we can say Jenkins CI and the Kubernetes, which is top of it. So they are the organization who builds the applications. So now you have understand the history of it. So let's talk about some of the features of it. So some of you might say, that is an odd reason behind you are moving from Docker to the Kubernetes. Yes, that's the point here. So what additional Kubernetes provide you? First, you have to understand load balancing. Second is auto scaling. Third is what? Auto healing, or you can say self tolerance. So let's talk about. This video is a little bit long, I know, but I will explain you about Kubernetes architecture in next videos. If you want, you can comment down, or you can say it to me. So let us understand the load balancing here. So what load balancing is? Consider this is a Diwali season, and in Diwali season, if you are having, consider if you are the Amazon Web Services, or if you are the Amazon.com, which is a e-commerce website. So what happens in Diwali season? The number of users increases as the in the normal days, And if you have seen the normal days, they have the minimum user of 30,000, or we can say, I'm just considering it. In festival day, the number of user size are increases by 10x or 2x, 20x. So it might be heavy to handle these kind of users to the one application or one organization. So what load balancer offer you? It will distribute your network to the appropriate server. So what do I mean by that? So you consider you have the 150 users on your festival day. What it will do? And you have the three servers. It will assign the 50 servers to one, second to 50, and third to 50. So from that, the server can be your EC2 instance or your backend server. So what he has done, it will automatically distribute your incoming network here, network, or you can say traffic. So second is auto healing. So as we know, as we seen the problem of Docker, that if a container goes down, there is a no such a feature that containers automatically comes. But Kubernetes provide you that it will automatically bring your applications. If you're trying to delete your container, it will automatically restore it. So that's the Kubernetes overview and basic concept. So if you want a detailed video, you can tell me. And I hope you guys understand this concept of Kubernetes. And thank you.